And the theme of today's show, pod, live stream, however you take in Wicked Radio, is restraint. The kind of restraint that I don't have yet, but I would love to have someday as we all work on it. But a great mindset lesson for all of us. A couple of stories in the news today. The first one being Pete Hegseth, who put on an absolute clinic in dealing with idiotic questioning from idiots at his Senate confirmation hearing yesterday for the Department of Defense position. That was amazing. I was a fan of the guy before. Now I'm rooting for him. That was incredible. Some sound from that. And also, we'll wrap up today with an unbelievable update on what we'll call the Philly special. The Scumbag Eagles fan, not all Eagles fans are like that, I get it, and I know the reputation, who harassed that couple at the Eagles playoff game in Philly last weekend. Wait till you hear about this guy, and now what we know about the restraint that, especially the fiance, the guy, showed in this. All caught on video and the worst possible outcome for the gutless dirtbag. Just fantastic. It'll make your heart grow 3 sizes like the Grinch. It's so good. It's such good justice. Anyway, before we get to all that stuff, thanks for finding Wicked Radio. I appreciate you. As always, I'm Bill. Thanks for finding the audio podcast, too, wherever you get those. Make sure you download it so you get the updates on when it's uploaded, which is usually about 9 a.m. Eastern Time-ish, if the algorithm and the wind is with me. That, and always as a replay right here on X, and put your notifications on. And thank you for the follow on the social media accounts as well, whether that's Facebook or here on X, and put notifications on it. Get verified. It's worth it, I'm telling you. All right, let's start it off with this. Pete Hegseth yesterday. I liked this guy. I kind of admired him before. You know, Pete, he was on Fox News, Fox and Friends, but then he was, incredible background. Turns out he's got 2 Ivy League degrees, warfighter, veterans, and a lot for veterans organizations. And he's President Trump's, as you know by now, nominee, his pick to lead up and head up the Department of Defense. That came with some raised eyebrows because of what's deemed and what's called lack of experience. Yeah, okay. That's why I was rooting for the guy to get the job, because that's what they need. A change agent, smart guy. He's an author. That became a bestseller as well. Well, you got to go through the confirmation hearing, right? You got to meet with all these senators, and then you have to sit there to the questioning. It doesn't always go well with people who are nominated for these kinds of jobs. And I got to tell you, like I said, I liked him before. Now I'm absolutely rooting for him because of the patience, the restraint he showed in the face of these idiots. And I mean idiots. What do you mean, Bill? These were elected senators. That doesn't mean crap when you deal with the kind of people that he dealt with yesterday. Because you know why I call them idiots? Because they don't get it. They still, to this day, don't get the mandate that we all put forward last November 5th on wanting change in this country. They just want the same bureaucratic, red tape, bloated, social engineering crap in our government departments that's gotten us into this mess, especially in the military. Started off with a great opening statement. Here's Pete. Like I said, liked him before. Now I'm rooting for him. Great opening statement.
A small handful of anonymous sources were allowed to drive a smear campaign and agenda about me because our left-wing media in America today, sadly, doesn't care about the truth. All they were out to do, Mr. Chairman, was to destroy me. And why do they want to destroy me? Because I'm a change agent and a threat to them, because Donald Trump was willing to choose me, to empower me, to bring the Defense Department back to what it really should be, which is warfighting.
And that's exactly what it is. And he's exactly right why I think that's such a good opening statement, because he nailed it right there. It's exactly what it is. Why is there so much opposition to him? Why are they, as you will hear, why are they attacking his personal life, his background, his credibility as a warfighter? Infuriating. Everything else about the guy, because he is not part of the inside the Beltway, Washington, D.C., cocktail party, bureaucratic red tape swamp. That's why they're against the guy. They hate him. They hate him because of change agents. Same, in many ways, the same reason why they hate Trump so much, because he's going to uncover all of that corruption and upturn the apple cart, and they hate that more than anything else. Let's go to some of that calm under pressure, some of that restraint he showed. After the opening statement, then you go to Kirsten Hillebrand. Listen to this. And this was amazing to me. And I actually found myself watching this way more than I'd ever watch a confirmation hearing. Believe me, usually they're like watching paint dry. But I saw a little bit of it, and I saw his restraint, and I saw his character and demeanor during this thing, and I said, that's a great lesson for everybody, especially me. That's a great, the mindset he had going through all of this had to be, I know I have a higher character than these people, and like he said in the statement, I know exactly what they're trying to do, and they're not going to rattle me. That had to be the self-messaging he had going into this, especially when he had the disheveled, fumbled, unprepared Kirsten Hillebrand shuffling her papers, and there was a lot of that yesterday. Just hysterical attacks on his character as they were just grasping at straws, trying to rattle the guy, and it didn't work. Here's the first one. Kirsten Hillebrand from New York.
So you say it was a political thing. You say it undermined us, social engineering. I don't know why someone having to publicly say or not publicly say who they love is social engineering.
And he just sat there, didn't get upset, didn't shuffle. And also this was key too, because usually when I'm dealing with, you probably do this too, when you're dealing with anybody, it's trying to attack you in any way, trying to get under your skin, really trying to rattle you. We all know those kinds of people. If you have restraint, it's great. But if you're like me, you kind of tend to smirk on your face like, I know you're an idiot. Pete didn't even do that. He sat there calmly. And I know there was a lot of media training going into this. He's been in the media quite a bit, so that probably helped him out quite a bit too. Just by not responding to the personal attacks and just sticking by the facts, it was very, very impressive. And again, and this was a common theme among all of the senators that tried to attack his character, they seemed so unprepared. And it was like a tell. You can tell that they were just going after his character, and she's shuffling papers, and she sounded like a hysterical high school girl. And then, well, hold on, it gets better. Maisie Hirono from Hawaii. Sure, you've seen her before. You want to talk about unprepared and just not letting the guy even finish his sentence. Here's her line of questioning, and here's his response.
I have read multiple reports of your regularly being drunk at work, including by people who worked with you at Fox News. Do you know that being drunk at work is prohibited for service members under the UCMJ?
Senator, those
Yes
are
or no?
multiple false anonymous reports peddled by NBC
Do you
News
know
that run
that
directly
drinking on the job
contradictory to
is
the dozens of men and women at
not
Fox News
contemplated
Channel
I'm
who
not
I work
hearing-
with
I'm
who
not
came
hearing
on
the
the
answer
record
to my question.
and said they've
In your
never
opening
seen
statement,
that.
Mr.
You know why, Maisie? Because you wouldn't let him answer a question. That's why you didn't hear it. Fumbling, unprepared attack on his character, and that was amazing too. They actually went so far as to attack his character and his ability as a warfighter. This guy's served our country on the battlefield. They attacked his ability to lead people. They attacked his personal credibility. They actually, as you'll hear here with one of my favorites, Elizabeth Warren, the senator from Massachusetts. Remember her? Trump likes to call her Pocahontas and Pocahontas. She attacked his credibility in what he's going to do. Get this, what he's going to do, and will he break his ties to the military-industrial complex? Oh, okay. That's why he's there, is to bring that kind of change to that department. Well, here she is. Here's Elizabeth Warren in her line of questioning, and it's great at the end. Not only did he show restraint to this idiotic line of questioning, actually made her look like a complete fool at the end.
In other words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. You're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
Fantastic. She tried to make the claim that you can't, you've got to resign from being, any kind of a military contractor office before you get the job, blah, 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 but completely unprepared. Again, she was just hysterical, asking a bunch of questions. And then Tommy Tuberville, by the way, came back after that. Remember the ex-coach? He called Pete the general to make fun of her even more. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. Now, how about this one? Remember Tim Kaine? Remember this guy? Oh, yeah. Tim Kaine from Virginia. The disheveled, red-faced, fat slob who ran for VP with Hillary. He tried to attack. He went so far as to attack Pete Hegseth in his personal life, bringing his 7-year-old daughter into question. How about that? It actually went this far. This guy. Here's Tim.
Completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat on the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you are completely cleared? How is that a complete clear?
Senator, her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth, and she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
And she
I'm
was,
glad
and
she's here.
you cheated on the mother of that child less than 2 months after that daughter was born, didn't you?
Those were false charges.
Well,
It
no,
was fully investigated, and I was completely clear.
See, that would have been the one. That would have been the one where I would have lost. And this is what, an hour into it? And he's sitting there and he's, calm, hand folded like this, and he's not making even any faces at these fools. That would have been the one that would have sent me over the edge. I would have wanted to jumped across the table and choked Tim Kaine out, even though you can't. Or at least I would have said something back that would have been nasty, knowing me. But working on it, like we all are. To actually bring in his personal life in that way. And somebody, I can't remember which senator it was, made the point. It might have been Mark Wayne Mullen, the senator from Texas, one of them, I think. Pretty sure. Who came out and he said, how dare any of us question this guy's personal life character? Because would you like to look into, basically summarizing here, would you like to look into the personal lives and the relationships and the parenting and the credibility, and they even brought drinking into the equation of any of the Senate members here on the panel, which was a great thing to say, because they have, if you ever looked into the habits of all these people, who are they to question this guy? Is he perfect? No. But like you, I feel the same way. I don't care that he's not a perfect human being, because I've never met one. I don't think the perfect human being exists, to be quite honest with you, but I think he's a good guy that would be a perfect change agent, like he said in the introduction, to lead up the Department of Defense. That's why I'm rooting for the guy, and he impressed the hell out of me as a communicator with the restraint he showed at this line of idiotic questioning. And that tells me that he's not only cool under fire, literal fire, on the battlefield, he would handle any of this red tape and garbage that happens in Washington, D.C. I don't care that he was a partier. Guy's a warrior, for God's sakes. I don't care that he's had a couple of wives. I don't care even if allegation that he cheated on. Don't care. I don't care. It's like Trump. Do I want to be best friends with him? Do I want him to be the belle of the ball? No, I don't. But I want him to be, and I'm hiring him to be the best person to bring change, much needed change, to this country, just like with Pete Hegseth. I'm a fan now, like I said. I liked him before. Now I'm absolutely rooting for him. And I'll contact my senators, too, to try to push him through. And I think he's going to get the confirmation, because he will clean up, and like he said in the introduction, get that department back to war fighting, and not the social engineering, and not the bloated bureaucracy and the red tape, and only confirming people in those Senate hearings who will go to the cocktail parties, and he's in the inside, and will just basically comes down to this. You know what they want? You know those senators who attacked him? You know what they want? They want somebody they can control in every possible facet of government. And that ain't him. All right. Here's the other update. This is my favorite story. This is the most viral story of the week, by the way. And we didn't get to it yesterday because I wanted to wait till what I suspected would happen happened. Let's call this the Philly Special. And you football fans, you'll get the reference. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Long story short, and give you the background. You probably saw it already, and I'll give you the update. So this couple goes to the Eagles-Packers playoff game this past weekend in Philly. They show up and they're in their Packers gear as fans. And I get it, and I've heard the argument. It's like, well, don't show up in Philly in the opposing fans' gear if you don't want to be harassed. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, if you have that argument, shut up. You're a fool. Just shut up. Shh. The adults are talking now, okay? Shut up with that argument, because it's got nothing to do with this. Here's the background. This dirtbag, gutless scumbag who's sitting next to them she's a fiance, calls the girlfriend every name in the book, including the C word. You'll get to it here. This is such a visual. I'm going to play the video for you. And you audio podcast listeners are just going to hear the audio. Now, I'll do my best to cut it off before he gets to the worst of the words, okay? To give you the background of the situation. I'll give you the update after. So here he is. This is the Philly Special. Get a load of this lowlife.
After reviewing the play, the runner was short of the goal line. They got one more yard though. They're close. Yeah, but they're not in. It's not a touchdown. Yeah. So you don't jerk off. Thumb in the air. Okay, well,
all right. I got to cut it off before that because it gets to the C word, and I think the graphic actually showed that. I apologize for that. I was looking for an edited version, but I don't have it right now. I got to tell you something. That's the level of restraint that I don't have right now. Because I will guarantee you right now, if this gutless scumbag had called my wife or fiance, daughter, sister, cousin, anybody, the C word, I would just have beaten the absolute crap out of him. I just would have. The restraint is not quite there. Maybe someday, maybe I'll have that ability that the boyfriend had here. Maybe, but I wouldn't have. And what would have happened? Then 12 other scumbags would have beaten the crap out of me, and I would have been the one arrested. So where are we there? Not good. Not a good situation. Here's what's amazing. The boyfriend had the restraint not to do that, but did videotape it. But let me tell you who the real hero is in this. It's the fiancé, the girlfriend, because she stayed calm and even mocked him a little bit. If she had gone berserk and pushed back at the guy and had gotten physical at all, then the boyfriend has no choice. He's got to start throwing punches. You just do if it reaches that physical level. But she didn't. Here's what's brilliant. Not only did they have the guts to show that kind of restraint, very admirable. It was on video, as you heard and as you saw there. Let's give you the update right now. The internet sleuths, including some other Philly fans, good for you Philly fans, found out who this gutless dirtbag is, who had the gall to call this poor girl the C word in front of him, and everything else, by the way. Ryan Cahill. Well, Ryan Cahill, he's been fired from a company called BCT Partners. Oh, so sorry, Ryan. I'm so sorry that happened to you. I wish it was worth all of this to you, yes, scumbag. Now, what does this company do? BCT Partners is a DEI-focused management consulting firm. That's so great. Inclusivity and sensitivity. Based in East Brunswick, New Jersey. They announced the firing just yesterday. I hope it was all worth it to you, you absolute gutless scumbag. And, by the way, and credit to the Eagles, because they banned him from all future events, too, which you can probably skirt around. But amazing restraint with a great result. Good lesson for me, because I don't think I have that ability yet. But you know what? Maybe someday. Justice has been served. Absolutely love it. All right, thanks for finding me. Thanks for finding Wicked Radio. Appreciate you. Audio podcast, wherever you get you those, will be posted usually about 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Usually takes about a half hour. So download that wherever you get them. And thanks for finding Wicked Radio on the replay as well. Make sure you follow me here on X and put your notifications on as well. With all that said, have a wicked awesome midweek, and we will talk to you tomorrow.